Well, there's one trip that many people don't often get to experience. In fact, it's very expensive to follow in the footsteps of Lewis and Clark. But Noel Oliver here from Colchester did that trip in just 29 days. Thank you for coming to KHQA, first of all, and making that trip down here this early in the morning. If we're taking a look at his website, it's called olivercorpsofdiscovery.info. There's a map on there, and it tells pretty much your entire trail that you did.
Yeah, it shows each of the little blue balloons there indicate a particular spot on the trip, and if you touch on one of those, it explains where that is and what was significant about it. On the way out, Lewis and Clark camped at over 500 places on that route, and I tried to visit as many of those as I could, and that's what those blue marks represent.
And this is pretty much a lifelong passion and finally a journey that you were able to come up with the money, you know, thanks to many friends and community organizations.
Yeah, the Macomb Rotary Foundation and Kathy Early State Farm Insurance were the two people that generously donated and helped me pay for the fuel on this trip.
Yeah, well, and I know we did the story with you before you left, and you were talking about the long list of items that Lewis and Clark had. You kind of had some different things. You didn't necessarily have to wear hides of different animals. You had it just a tad bit easier, but all the more an awesome experience.
I was prepared to be stranded in my truck for days, and that never did happen. Although I was snowbound in South Dakota and in Montana for a few days.
What would be one of your number one experiences out of the trip as a whole?
I think the most enlightening experience has been the interest of people that I would meet at different sites, and the students that have been blogging with me day and night.
You FaceTimed with many of them in the Netherlands?
I FaceTimed with a class in Prinsenbeek, Holland, and their interest in a Lewis and Clark journey in America was impressive to me.
Very cool. Something you definitely do again?
Yeah, at least parts of it again. That I really didn't get to spend the time that I wanted to and needed to really study the situation.
Mm-hmm. And you did this on your own. Was that by choice?
Yeah, I think something like this, I needed to be by myself so that I didn't have to worry about anyone else, their schedule or their needs, and I could stop when I needed to and stay as long as I wished.
Well, and how cool to make it not only a passion but an educational experience for hundreds of kids that are online watching
I had well over 12,000 views on my website. I don't know how many people that is, but I was impressed with that number.
We're impressed with that number. That's a pretty big feat. Noel Oliver, thank you so much for coming into the studio this morning. A great adventure, and thank you for sharing it.
My pleasure.